Hello and welcome to a new episode of A Fire Inside Out. I'm Ben Hansen, all fired up. We have Jeff Cork over there.
Good morning, my friend.
Oh, we're back. And I bet it's really annoying for any kind soul that's listening to this podcast in its entirety because the last 6 episodes have been like, we're back, everybody. Isn't it crazy? Out of the darkness. Here we go.
Also, sorry to put number one on what you thought was a dormant podcast. A little notification.
Beware, we live, as a wise man once said.
You know what the worst is, though? When the notification pops up and it's like promos for some affiliate podcast.
Yes, and we promise we'll never do that unless we revive some sort of Twilight Zone podcast for the Jordan Peele thing, which we probably won't do.
Maybe a band called Blaqk Audio.
That's right. So AFI is our bread and butter here, and Lord knows it butters our bread. It's paying some bills, let's say that.
Oh, my Lord.
But we had one episode, technically two, devoted to Blaqk Audio, the little side project. I'm sorry, the great, big, grand side project. So we covered their first two albums, and then we covered the concert that we went to with dear friend Grant Bullimer, friend of the show.
Yeah.
And now we're covering their fourth album, Only Things We Love.
We leapfrogged right over that last one because that's what they were touring on, Materials.
Right. And so we kind of covered it, I don't know, by talking about our reactions to the live show. I feel like we did our due diligence here. It's a side project.
It's a side. What do you want?
Yeah. Only Things We Love, Jeff Cork, came out March 15th, 2019, the year of our Lord.
Yeah.
What I really like that title. I think we laughed at it when we first saw it. But the more I think about it and the floral pattern on the album art, I think it is a cool theme.
It is very cool. And they could have done the predictable thing if it was like, Davey only things he loves, it would be like a rabbit and a cat, maybe some bangs.
Yeah, his closet. Yeah. But no. Instead, what would you say from listening to this album they're dealing with here? What are they unpacking?
Well, funny story is we said we didn't cover Materials. I spent 2 days listening to Materials because I got messed up.
And
you know what's really funny about that, though, is I listened to that a bunch before we went to the concert.
Yeah.
That album must have just washed right over me because I was listening to it again when I thought was the first time, and I'm like, this is really unremarkable stuff. There was not a single song on there where I was like, wait a second. This is the only reason I noticed it because I was looking at the track list at one point. It was like, Materials of 2016. Oh, no.
What have I done?
What have I done?
That's not a great sign. I went back and listened to our previous episode on Blaqk Audio. I'm trying to remember where we came down on Blaqk Audio in general.
It was a fun show. I remember that.
It was a lovely show. Oh, the concert, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is fun. It's fun just because it's happy to see Davey and Jade happy and in their element, trying something different.
Yes.
Jade banging on those ivories back there, and Davey just really
tickling our fancies instead of the ivories.
That's exactly right. It's fun to hear interviews here where they're talking about Blaqk Audio and touring the new album and stuff.
Yeah.
So Davey talks about how because of the lighting and with electronic music in general, you have to have so much kind of preordained and ready to go that you can't really change up the set list or the timing too much along the way.
Yeah.
And so he's like, it's just kind of Jade back there doing his thing, and then he says, our shows are fun. This is from a Billboard interview. Unfortunately, we don't have the budget of any of those groups like Pet Shop Boys, Erasure, or VNV Nation, so it'll be up to just me. Oh, hang on. So it'll be up to me to just Broadway, as he puts it. That's him selling
And
the
he does
show.
a fantastic job. I remember he had a cool mustache and his suit was the color of mustard.
That's true. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful mustard.
So this album, though, I thought it was interesting listening to those two albums back to back accidentally, although it was good research. The last one, I think, overall kind of felt like a fun pose, but a pose nonetheless. It just seemed like it did not rise above its influences in a lot of ways. This seems, the new one, Only Things We Love, kind of reminded me of a bridge between AFI and Blaqk Audio in some ways. A lot of the songs...
Boy, I feel like that's what Sex Sells was, very much so, though.
Yeah, but I think this one is another bridge. Who's to say you can't have one bridge?
Bridge to the future.
Exactly. A lot of these songs remind me of a dance remix of an AFI song.
That's interesting.
Lyrically, they're a lot simpler.
Yes.
But I think just overall, there's elements that seem a lot more AFI than in the last album of, the last Blaqk Audio album.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think lyrically, I think there's something we're always kind of scrambling to try and piece together how personal AFI lyrics are in general. I think it's sometimes a challenge to be how much is this a confession or how much is it just writing cool lyrics for the sake of writing cool lyrics? And I feel like with Blaqk Audio in general, it's one step removed from that as well, where it's like, I feel like it's more of a pose in a way, where it's like it's an homage to music that they really love, just electronic music, you know, British synth pop and stuff from their youth. So I feel like Davey's putting on more of a facade in some way and not pouring his heart out. And then musically with this album, I feel like, man, maybe it's just I'm not as sophisticated when it comes to electronic music, but I feel like it's a lot simpler because I think the last couple AFI albums we've talked about, like, Jesus, musically, this thing is just getting so experimental and layered and different. And I feel
you
like
need that layer of wind chimes in that song, maybe. I don't know.
Always cut it out. But I feel like, you know, early Blaqk Audio was also a little bit more in that vein, and I feel like it's getting a little bit simpler. And I wonder if it's because they're turning these albums around quicker.
Yeah.
Because I remember Sex Cells, they're sitting on since like 2001. They didn't come out until 2007. And so I think in that episode, we talked about it last time, we talked about how much time Jade had to just tinker and add new layers.
Yeah.
And he even talked about the difficulties and challenges because he just felt compelled to add new layers and add new layers, and he had to really strip it down. I feel like they've gotten to a good stripped down medium here.
Yeah, this one is a lot of fun to listen to.
Oh, you like it?
I will say. Yeah. Yeah, it's like really... I'm not a big dancer, but I can see why someone would dance to this music.
I could imagine moving my body to these sounds. Yeah.
Stomping around like Frankenstein. Yep.
Yeah. So this album, Only Things We Love, it was turned around right after they recorded Blood. Here's an interview from setlist.fm. Davey Havok says, honestly, at the time of creating the Blaqk Audio record, which was right on the heels of the AFI Blood record, we went straight from recording that record to writing and recording Only Things We Love. It was natural for me to move lyrically in the direction that I had been in at the time, rather than to flip to the more celebratory themes and the more hymnistic themes that pervade Blaqk Audio as a duo historically. And he also talks about kind of writing in dark themes again on this album. This is a Billboard interview with Davey Havok. He says, my favorite kind of like stuff for him to talk about, where he says, I recognize that about myself. It's difficult for me to get away from just writing darkness in general. I wish I could write from a different perspective, but it's very natural for me to come from a place that is generally perceived as the dark side of philosophy, consciousness, or creation. I've tried. I really envy those people who can write perfect pop songs that have universal appeal, because I find that most of what I create and who I am to be very alienating, he says with a laugh. But I come from an honest place, and those sentiments inevitably come out in an honest form.
Interesting.
I come from an honest place of worrying about the darkness of creation.
A working man's ethic.
So unlike the AFI episodes of this podcast, we're not going to go necessarily track by track, but kind of if there's key moments and stuff, we can definitely play through that.
Yeah, it's interesting that he said, you know, he wishes he could write like a perfect pop song or whatever, because I feel like the one standout track on this, for me at least, because I do have a pop music sensibility from time to time. I really like Summer's Out of Sight.
Summer's Out of Sight. I knew you were going to choose that one.
I love that.
Let's jump to it, because listening to it, I'm like, oh, this is some Crash love stuff that Jeff Cork is really going to love here. Here is Summer's Out of Sight.
I recall that night we met. Do you remember when I said how I loved your summer dress? You said it's borrowed, just like my bed.
Bed and home. There's a funny home line in here we'll get to later on in this album. What do you think about Davey's singing overall for this one?
Overall, like on the entire
album? Yeah.
It's good. I think he's like doing that affectation, which is like the whole point of that side project. A lot of Dave Gahan, Depeche Mode, that kind of stuff.
Davey Havok, ladies and gentlemen.
But I feel like, again, I just sound like a broken record here. Ben Hansen, pause for effect. I feel like it is closer to AFI. Just, I think instrumentation is probably like one of the big things that sets it apart. You know, like it sounds a lot different, but I mean, like you could tell the kernel of that creative place that Davey Havok comes from.
Yeah,
is present regardless of what kind of music he's writing.
Yeah, I feel like this album in general too, I feel like Davey's changing up his singing style a little bit. I think something that kind of, I think we talked about it previously, but it's kind of, he always sounds a little bit too deep. It's like the December Underground thing where he's just singing a little bit too low, and like the first couple Blaqk Audio albums I feel like fall into that trap. And some songs on this one do, but then there's some songs like Carolyn in the clip here where he's surprisingly higher pitched. I think it sounds great. Here we go.
you see?
It sounds like a woman at first. That's great.
She looked, the bullet grazed your shoulder there. But don't despair. All that she took, one ninja flash, beyond compare. I wish I could say the same thing.
I think that might be my favorite song on the album.
It's a good track.
Yeah, it's not bad. Ain't bad at all. I know this is also a silly refrain in this podcast. I listened to a lot of this album and just started thinking, like, what if there were just no vocals, though?
I was just going to say that. I would love for them to make an instrumental album.
Yeah, because like, listen to like the opening of Maker here. I think it sounds so awesome, and I feel like there's definitely enough people who are hungry for some more 80s electronic music that would gladly put this on at a party, and then maybe vocals would take them out a little bit. But
Is this one where you're singing about digging for gold?
Unclear, but here's the opening of Maker. Bassline's very Blue Monday, but that's fine. Maker, everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that like the simplicity of the lyrics, like, because he is trying to be lighter, whether or not he succeeds. I think that a lot of times it's distracting because it is so silly and poofy. You know, there's not a lot to it.
It's a lot of themes that I feel like they touched on in Crash Love Again, where it's a lot about just kind of young love, summer lovin', as a wise man once put it. But I agree. Like Matrimony and Dust here, the last song of the album, kind of hits that theme where it's confusing lyrically.
Your embrace told me not to tell you how I feel. You would rip your jeans, you would rip your jeans somehow.
Finally, that Davey Havok jeans ballad.
You ripped your jeans somehow?
Yeah, it's just like a story about, what happened when they were young and all this stuff.
Yeah.
A little forbidden love where, ripped jeans are a big theme.
Yeah.
Let's see, other songs that stood out. There's like The Vials, which is the single. There's a music video for it, which is kind of just a caged Davey.
That's about the basement, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Jade's in the back standing up playing a keyboard, and there's a nice reminder that it's really tough to look cool while you're standing up playing a keyboard.
Yeah, the only way is to like raise it way high so nobody can see you.
Yeah.
I thought that Matrimony and Dust in particular sounded AFIE.
Oh, that last one? Okay.
That sounded like a Matrimony and Dust, in parentheses, dance remix. That's what it reminded me of.
I get it. We listened to just a preview when this album was being teased of OK Alex, and we got a real kick out of it. But here's the opening to OK Alex.
Kiss my lips. Could you use your mouth or your fist? Turn your hips till I could use a 17th slash. You came out swinging with a new sachet.
Okay, of course, I kind of like it.
My bell started ringing like a wedding day. Okay, Alex, I'll play.
All right, if you had to guess, do they know somebody named Alex, or is that just a random name pulled out of the ether?
Oh, well, I bet that they initially submitted it and it was something real, and their lawyers were like, you know what, if Trevor hears this, he's going to be seriously pissed. You don't know anyone named Alex, do you? No? Good. Roll with it.
Hand on the Bible, you don't know an Alex. Here's an interesting little breakdown here in OK Alex.
Sweats. No tears. No tears. Blood, blood, sweat, sweat. Blood, blood, sweat. Okay, Alex, okay, Alex, okay, 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 okay. Okay, Alex, okay, Alex.
They really should score a movie.
Ooh, with lyrics or not?
No lyrics.
No lyrics. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I bet they would like to.
Yeah.
I bet they'd be up for it. Yes. Okay, Alex. Okay. Also, just a constant refrain. Every time I say breakdown in the song, people on Twitter have politely corrected me. The word I'm looking for is bridge. Musical bridge.
Doom, doom, boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. This is a moment. Infinite Skin, the first song on the album.
Is this the breakdown?
This is not the breakdown. This is just a little moment that I thought of you because I figured you'd get a kick out of it.
You make my list, I watched you make a killing. Nearly tonight, you stopped a little short of something right. Well. I've got to go.
Hell yeah. Really doing it.
They're having a good time.
That's exactly it. That's the takeaway from Blaqk Audio. Like, I don't know how often I'd listen to Blaqk Audio if I wasn't recording a podcast about it. But at the same time, yeah, I'm happy they're having a good time.
I love the fact that they have so much stuff they want to do, and they want to do it together. It's not like a band that's just like, as soon as they're like, all right, done, blam, they just scatter into the wind. It's like, I don't want to see you assholes again until we have to hit the road.
Right.
You know? Like,
right.
those two guys have found like kindred spirits, and I think that's awesome.
For sure. Another interesting little moment musically is Enemies Forever.
And I shall follow you. Did we really bleed? Was it healing you? Took all that you needed. Did we really bleed? Was it really you? Then within my brain, was it healing you?
Did you enjoy, because you and I, first thing you got to know about us, we're gamers.
Big time.
Did you enjoy Dark Arcades?
Yeah.
I was waiting
you
for
could say that.
some specific Rampage reference or something, but
Finish him.
oh wait, actually, that totally reminds me. Hang on, there was a moment.
Are you thinking of what I'm thinking?
Oh my god, hang on.
When it happened, I was like, can they do that?
Okay, hang on.
Should they have done that?
Need to find this exact moment that we're talking about here. Oh, here we go. Okay, it is in Dark Times at the Berlin Wall.
I'm glad that this stuck out to you.
Oh
as
my
well.
god, yeah, here we go.
I'll say hello, astronauts.
Liu Kang. Johnny Cage.
Really, if Davey yelled Mortal Kombat in that moment, what's better than that? Just guys being dudes.
Just guys being dudes.
Also, that song where in the chorus it's saying hello to an astronaut. That's like,
Yes!
I love that too. Because like, again, AFI couldn't get away with it, but again, there's certain like lyrical things, even just "Okay, Alex." You know, like
Yeah.
I love that it kind of they can get out of their comfort zone and just write some stranger, more specific stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it seems like a little experimental of an album. The tone I think I appreciate is that it's a little different. It's a little varied. It kind of gets back to the overall theme of Dave and Jade being in a more experimental place right now. Prolific, I'd argue. They wrote, of course, classic Dave and Jade style. They wrote 69 songs apparently for this album and then whittled it down. I'm sure they're at 68 and they just wanted to get one fun thing in there, so he just banged on the
Very
keyboard
nice.
for a while to be able to say that in interviews and whatnot.
Yeah.
But still a good time overall.
Yeah.
Would you listen to Blaqk Audio if not for this podcast? Would you ever go back and listen to it?
Well, I did.
Oh, I see.
Accidentally. I would recommend this album, honestly. If you're like an AFI fan who likes Davey at his most theatrical and him and Jade at like their grandest, this would be like, I think this could be something you might be into. Materials, not so much. That's like boy, you really have to like them.
Really?
Or you have to emerge from a time capsule. Because I think that one, again, I don't think Materials rises above the inspirations.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like there's anything going on there, really.
Sure.
But this one's a lot of fun.
What do you think of this mystery track for Jeff Cork? do you think that is? If you had to guess.
I don't know.
What do you think that is singing?
Guy Normal? Did they bring him on?
No, this is Jade.
Really?
He has released 6 tracks on his website of just Jade solo stuff. This song is called, not a Halloween band, keep in mind. This song is called Boo, I'm a Ghost.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I don't know if
Did he
he's
see like Fallout Boys track lists and he's like, all right, guys, check and mate. Boo, I'm a ghost.
I don't know, but he even builds it on the site like, hey, here's a rare one I'm actually singing. But at some point, if we keep doing more of these episodes, which would be fun, I would love to just break down that weird kind of experimental, just post on his website, you have to pay for each track individually, Jade music. Because I think it's awesome that he's posting stuff on his own, which I think we both wanted to hear for a while. Singing, it's an interesting tone.
Would you consider Jade solo stuff a side project from Blaqk Audio, which would in turn make it the biggest side project of all time, like AFI twice removed?
Absolutely. I really think it would. That basically is Only Things We Love. We haven't done the Dream Car episode yet. I was realizing that I still haven't heard a single track from Dream Car, which we had talked about doing at some point.
Yeah.
What's your interest level in that?
I would say let's do it.
Okay, fantastic. I'd be up for that. AFI is going on tour in August with Smashing Pumpkins and Noel Gallagher.
Are they going to be here?
No, they're not coming to Minneapolis where this
close are they
podcast is
coming?
based. God, I forget. Chicago probably, but I don't think we're going to travel to see it.
AFI, if you're listening, if you fly us out there, we'll go see you.
Absolutely. I think you'll be mightily rewarded.
Yes.
Yeah.
A king's ransom.
Beautiful. All right. I'm glad to catch up with you a little bit, Jeff Cork.
That was great.
Hopefully you've enjoyed Only Things We Love out there. Congratulations to our dear friends at AFI News headquarters.
Yes.
They celebrated their 10th anniversary recently.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they really did it. So we hope to come back in the future. Maybe Dream Car, or maybe when new AFI stuff gets bubbling, because they're saying that they're writing a new AFI album right now.
That's awesome.
I bet on the tour they'll tease something new.
Yeah.
I know nothing, but I'll put money on that.
Yep. It'll be encore, and people will be like, huh?
All right, Jeff Cork, thank you for recording this, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, till next time.
Bye.
AF, bye.
So high.